Oh, it is. It is a Friday episode of Donno Daily here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Going to close out the week in style today. I'm wearing my Canes hat. Got to support Canes basketball. The women already won today in the NCAA tournament. The men play in a little over an hour as I'm live here at 1:59 p.m. here on Friday. The Canes men's team will open up their NCAA tournament today. 3:10 p.m. I think is when the scheduled start time is against USC. But I'm not here to talk college basketball. I'm here to talk professional football, and I'm here to talk about the first week of NFL free agency, which is, at least the weekday portion of it is coming to a close later on today. So, guys, do me a favor. We're going to have a heart-to-heart chat, maybe a therapy session amongst Dolphin fans, although maybe some of you will like what I have to say. Some of you probably won't, because when you have opinions, some people will agree, some people will disagree. But whether you agree or disagree, whether you like me or hate me, do us all a solid here. Smash the like button. Smash the like button here, the little thumbs up button at the bottom corner on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to our channel, 5 Reasons Sports on YouTube. The more likes and the more subscriptions we get, the more the channel is going to grow, okay? So welcome in to everybody. Thank you so much, Shake. He says, best way to close out the week is with Donno Daily. I would tend to agree. Actually, I thought Jeff was agreeing with Shake Money. No, he's agreeing with David. Now, David, okay, this is his advice to Stephen Ross. I'll do you one better. Sell the team. And I know our guy, Jeff, is not too happy with Chris Grier's approach so far, or at least Chris Grier's results so far in NFL free agency. And, the title of this episode is Dolphins General Manager Chris Grier Doing Enough in Free Agency. Like, we know this Miami Dolphins team entered free agency with the most cap space at that time in the entire National Football League, $60.2 million. They have gone for volume signings. They've gone for, as Jeff mentioned in his comment, they've gone for a lot of bargain signings, but they have so far. And guys, I want to make sure we all check ourselves and we all check each other's sanity here. Free agency is not over, okay? The offensive tackle market is not dry yet. Like, there's still an I'm not sitting here today on Friday, the 18th of March. I'm not sitting here telling you, hey, we're not going to sign any tackles. I'm just sitting here telling you I'm worried that we won't come away with the tackle or tackles that we wanted heading into it, and people who can really elevate this offensive line. I'm starting to get concerned, okay? And I'll explain why I'm getting concerned. Let me see if I can share my screen here. Hold on one second, my friends. Bear with me here. Stuff like this, okay? You see this tweet from, one of the best reporters in South Florida, Barry Jackson from the Miami Herald, responding. That tweet he responded to says, "Are they looking? Looking is in for offensive tackles." That's what that person's asking, and Barry Jackson responds, "They've called reps for several free agent tackles so far. They're looking. How aggressively is the question?" Now, the word aggressive is an important one because that's Chris Grier's own word that's now being used against him, as in how aggressive is he being in the free agent tackle market, when a couple weeks ago, Chris Grier spoke at the NFL Scouting Combine, and he specifically said, this is his word, we will be aggressive in free agency. They've made a lot of signings. They've made a lot of good signings. Right, I'm not saying I don't like some of the moves the Dolphins have made. I think the running back / fullback core is getting revolutionized, and I think it's a good thing. I like the addition of Chase Edmonds a lot. I like the addition of Raheem Mostert a lot. I like Alec Ingold at fullback. I like Cedric Wilson, the receiver that they added. But my fear here is we're seeing the strategy playing out. And again, I know free agency is not over, but most of their cap money has already been spent. They can create more by cutting up to 7 players, but most of their cap money has already been spent. And the longer you wait, the less options there are going to be out there. Okay. So when you're talking about the top tier free agents, top tier guys aren't going to be available several days or several weeks from now. You usually make the biggest moves first and then the smaller moves later. And I'm starting to get the fear here And we're going to be talking, by the way, in about 10 minutes with Jaccare Givens, who does an awesome job covering the Dolphins, the NFL, and the Miami Hurricanes in college football for the 5 Reasons Sports Network. He's going to join us at about 2:15. The Dolphins appear to be, and if you disagree, tell me, but they appear to be more concerned about getting bargains than getting the best possible players. Now, of course, there is value in a salary cap sport, right? This isn't Major League Baseball. This isn't European soccer, and European soccer does have financial fair play. So there are certain things you're not supposed to violate, but those aren't salary cap sports. This is a salary cap sport. So I get it. There's value in not, quote unquote, overpaying for people and keeping cap flexibility. But in free agency, if you want to get difference makers, best possible players at important positions, and the Dolphins have some positions where they've needed important players here, like offensive line, for example, offensive tackle specifically, you're going to have to pay premium prices. And you're going to have to sometimes pay prices that a lot of the nerds and the accountants out there would say, well, they overpaid for that guy. Everybody overpays in free agency when you're going for premium players. And guess what? You get what you pay for. If you're shopping in the bargain bin, you're getting bargain goods, okay? Having depth is important, and that's why the Dolphins have made a big volume of signings, including keeping a lot of their own defensive players, which that's good for continuity. The defense has been very good the last couple of years. The offense has been terrible, so they've tried to keep the band together on defense, and they've tried to make strategic signings on offense. So having depth is important. You know, depth, honestly, having a deep team, not necessarily a great team, but a deep team might be the difference in winning 7 games or winning 9 games, okay? But honestly, to get over that hump, if you really want to make yourself a contender, a Super Bowl contender, and I hate to use those words in the same sentence as the Miami Dolphins because we haven't been to a Super Bowl since the 1980s, but you've got to be bold. If you want to make yourself a contender, if you want to go out there and get the best possible players, you have to be bold. That's my word. And you have to be aggressive. That's Chris Grier's word. Now, the Denver Broncos, for example, they knew they didn't have a real quarterback. Great team, not a real quarterback. So they gave up a ton of assets for Russell Wilson. Some people might even say they overpaid for an aging quarterback. That was aggressive. That was bold. And the Broncos have a good history in going out there and snagging veteran quarterbacks. I mean, Peyton Manning thing worked out. Didn't that work out? Look at the Las Vegas Raiders, who have been super active. Not only have they made, a handful of really good aggressive signings, they just last night, they traded 2 high draft picks for Davante Adams. Now, I thought, it's actually just from the trade standpoint, getting Davante Adams for just 1 first-round pick and 1 second-round pick, that's a bargain. They do have to pay him a shitload of money because they have to pay the gigantic contract he was looking for. So that was a bold move, and I think that's going to pay off for them, man. They shot their shot. The Buffalo Bills, they already have a franchise quarterback, so they didn't have to go out and get a franchise quarterback, but they're already one of the best teams in the AFC. They're already a Super Bowl contender on paper. They go out and they nab players like Von Miller for their defense and O.J. Howard for their offense. That's bold. Chris Grier essentially was given a $60 million budget, and he decided to buy 20 Happy Meals instead of 1 steak dinner. Pat Riley shops for his suits at Armani. Chris Grier shops for suits at Austin Burke. Listen, Goran Dragic here for Austin Burke. Look at my friends. You can get 14 suit for price of 97 suit. You can get 25 suit for price of 150 suit. So many great bargains here. Factory prices at Austin Burke. Chris, at some point, you got to get me an Armani suit, man. You've got an Armani suit out there in Lyle Collins, and looks like you're letting Cincinnati beat you to that one. Now, I don't know how much, if at all, I can blame him for Teron Armstead, because Teron Armstead is in a holding pattern right now. He's making teams wait because he wants to make up his mind depending on what Deshaun Watson decides to do. But I'm just worried if the Dolphins are waiting around for him, it could cost them other moves, right? I mean, Chris Grier might be, and I hope this is not the case, but he might be willing here to let Cincinnati beat him out for Lyle Collins. It goes back to this Barry Jackson tweet. They've called reps for several free agent tackles, so they are looking. How aggressively is the question? And guys, what was the first thing we heard, according to reports yesterday, Right before I got on the air yesterday, went on at 2 o'clock yesterday, and at around 1:45 p.m., right before I got on, was when the news dropped that the Dallas Cowboys were cutting La'el Collins. So 15 minutes later, get on my show, and I plead. I beg and I plead. Let's go out and get this guy. We really, in a perfect world, we need a new starting right and starting left tackle. But you got to get us at least one of those. And I want to pull up this tweet from our guy, Alfredo Arteaga. Hold on. Let me see if you guys can see this. He hits the nail on the head. Absolute nail on the head. He says, if Mike McDaniel really believes in the scheme, that the scheme coaching can fix the offensive line, that's fine and good. But if that just means they have to sign one tackle, but that would just mean they have to sign one tackle, not two. No matter how you slice it, the bare minimum they need is one starting tackle in free agency. So you got to get us one, man. With the La'el Collins thing, you have to wonder what they're thinking right now. Is Chris Grier just being too indecisive and not aggressive enough? Because immediately when La'el Collins became a free agent, the first thing we heard was Cincinnati is being more aggressive for him than the Dolphins. They bring him in for a meeting almost immediately. So are we being aggressive enough? Okay. Maybe Grier is playing the waiting game for Teron Armstead. Admittedly, I can't pretend that I know enough about what's going on behind the scenes with Armstead. Grier probably knows a lot more about that than me. I'm not, I'm humble enough to admit that. But from where I sit, it doesn't look like the Miami Dolphins are the favorite for Teron Armstead. Now it's going to depend on what happens with Deshaun Watson, because it seems like, and some people, by the way, there's a little bit of confusion as to what exactly Teron Armstead is waiting for. Some people think Teron Armstead is waiting for Watson to decide, because if Watson goes to New Orleans, then Teron Armstead wants to re-sign there to play with him. Other people think Teron Armstead wants to re-sign for big money in New Orleans, and he's worried that if Deshaun Watson goes to New Orleans, he's going to take up a big chunk of the salary cap, and then New Orleans won't be able to afford him. From my understanding, it's the first, not the second, that Armstead wants to play with Deshaun Watson. Some people think that way. Some people think the other way. But from what I've seen, heard, and read from reputable reporters, he wants to play with Deshaun Watson. And I think they'll figure out how that can shake out with the salary cap once, if they sign Watson or when they trade for Watson, whenever that happens. Okay. Now, Trent Brown is also out there, right tackle, free agent. From the New England Patriots. Maybe Trent Brown is your fallback option. I don't know how we can be sure he's going to wait for us if we keep waiting for everybody else. And again, I don't want to sound all negative here. I don't want to be completely negative. I like to put a positive spin on things when I can. The Dolphins have made some very solid moves and some very good value moves here. Again, some good value moves, but they haven't made the most important moves yet. Offensive tackle and also center. I don't want to neglect center. Treader, the former Browns center, is out there. I think they should sign him. In fact, some people like my guy, Dougley Durong, who I enjoy his content. He's a very, very smart content creator in the Dolphin space. He thinks that center is actually an even bigger priority maybe than tackle. And you make sure to address that first. I want to, and I think he wants to address both of those, as do I. But yeah, you need to go out and get a center and at least one tackle as well. Okay. If anything, this is what's frustrating about the way the process is played out, okay? I would have thought at this point, with how much money they've already tied up in free agent contracts, I thought that they would have addressed tackle and center first before they started signing their second running backs and their second wide receivers in this cycle, because they've already gone to round 2 with running backs and wide receiver and still haven't addressed offensive tackle. Your offensive line, let's not forget, and I know Dolphins fans will probably never forget this, your offensive line last season, dead last in the NFL, dead last in the statistics, and dead last in the eye test, right? Whether you were looking at the stats and the PFF rankings, which I know do not tell the whole story, but, there are up to 16 games played every Sunday. We can't watch every game, right? I mean, sometimes you just have to go based on stats and PFF rankings. So the Dolphins had the worst offensive line, not only based on statistics, but also based on people like us, because I know, most of you in here are Dolphins fans. You watch the games. That offensive line was shit. Like it was terrible last year. Dead last in the NFL. So, and they have signed one offensive lineman. And I like him, Connor Williams. Very, very highly rated guard from Dallas. He had a few too many penalties last year, I know, but still, despite the penalties, was still top 10 graded guard in the National Football League last year. So I'm very encouraged by that signing. But you can't just sign one guard and expect everything to be fixed. There's this new narrative out there. Marcel Louis-Jacques from ESPN talked a little bit about it. There have been a lot of blogs written about it. I have no idea if this narrative actually comes from leaks from the organization or if it just comes from the media and fans speculating. I think it might be the second of those, and I hope it's the second of those, right? Because sometimes when you get nuggets like this about strategies and free agent approaches, you can never be sure, is that coming from the team and they're strategically leaking it, or is that just writers giving their opinions on things, okay? But there is this new narrative out there which says, no, hold on, guys. This is the Dolphins' plan, okay? The new narrative is that instead of overhauling the offensive line by signing players, the Dolphins are actually trusting Mike McDaniel and Matt Applebaum, the O-line coach, to coach them up. No, you fans were all wrong. No, you fans kept saying for months, I can't wait till free agency. The Dolphins, they're going to invest heavily in the offense. They're going to completely revolutionize and revamp the offensive line with free agent signings. Now there's this narrative out there that, no, that was BS. They're not going to revolutionize it through signings. They're going to revolutionize the offensive line through coaching. Now, on the one hand, I have no doubt that Mike McDaniel, McCochin, has a better scheme for his offense than George Godsey and Eric Studesville did. I have no doubt that he's got a better scheme. I have no doubt that Applebaum, the offensive line coach, is going to coach the line up better than Lem Jean-Pierre did. Now, Lem is still on the staff, but he's like third in the pecking order now. So he's not the guy who puts his direct fingerprints on it. So yeah, I think the scheme's going to get better. I think the offensive coaching is going to get better, but you cannot tell me that the scheme and the coaching alone is going to be good enough to take players like Jesse Davis, Austin Jackson, Michael Dieter, just to name a few, and make those guys just fine and fix them through coaching. I'm not buying that. I was born at night. I wasn't born last night. Like you can't tell me that they can just wave this magic wand of coaching and scheming and turn the worst O-lineman in the NFL into serviceable O-linemen in the NFL. And even if you can make them serviceable, will that even be enough? Okay. Now, I don't hate everybody on the Dolphins offensive line. Robert Hunt was the best of the bunch, probably by a country mile. This guy was bad last year, but I will never write off a former Notre Dame offensive lineman after just one season. So maybe there's something you can work with there with Liam Eichenberg. So like there's a couple of guys on that O-line that I haven't completely shut the door on. But yeah, listen, and here's something that we can all unite on. Whether you are a Tua lover, a Tua hater, or something in between like me, I think we can all agree. Whether or not you think that quarterback is going to ever be as good as the Russell Wilsons of the world, or the Patrick Mahomes, or the Josh Allens of the world, quarterbacks you have to go up against in the AFC, whether you think he's ever going to be that good, I think we can all agree he was dealt a bad hand last year by having to play behind a really bad offensive line. And the offensive line has got to be better. All right, let's bring on our featured guest for today. And this dude, I've seen his excellent takes as always on social media this week, and I said we've got to bring on King Jock. We got to bring on Jaccare Givens, who's a big part of our football coverage on the 5 Reasons Sports Network, whether it be the Canes and college football. Oh yeah, it was the connection was a little shaky at first. Are you there, sir? Are you there, Jaccare?
Yes, I am. I'm here. I'm here.
Did you cut
Can
your
you hear
hair
me?
off? Or am I just looking at a weird
Nah,
angle?
nah.
Yeah, I
You
can
know
hear
I
you.
ain't cut. You
Oh,
know.
there it is. I couldn't see it for a
You know I
second.
ain't cut my hair
Oh
off,
man.
man.
So I don't know, man. I look like I just saw that shot that I can see right now, and it looked like you gave yourself a crew cut or something. So I'm glad to see that it's all
Nah,
still. See,
nah.
I'm just jealous because this is what I'm rocking with. Okay, so when I see a man blessed like yourself with a beautiful full head of hair, I've got to geek out to it. Okay, and the big question of the day, Jaccare, is, and I know we're less than a full week into free agency. I can understand the frustration as to not having addressed the most important positions, which to me are offensive tackle and center. And the Dolphins so far have done nothing on that front. How do you feel about Chris Grier and the Miami Dolphins approach so far?
It's just more of the same. You've seen it over the last 2 or 3 years. Not enough aggressiveness. Yes, you can trust in your system, but sometimes you do have to go out and get players who fit the system. Jesse Davis is not an NFL player. I didn't have the luxury of playing in the NFL, but I know what an NFL player looks like when I see one. And Jesse Davis is not. Austin Jackson has a chance in his system, so I don't blame them for wanting to give him a chance. So you have three guys. Eichenberg, I'm not giving up on because I think if he moves to right tackle, or he'll be way better. You know what I'm saying? So you have to give him a chance. But I just think the lack of aggressiveness has been very alarming. Because even if you look at it, if you go out and get Lael Collins and Terrell Armstead, you're good. Eichenberg you can swing him to guard, or if you want to give up on Allison Jackson, or you want to move him to center, or, like, you have options with this guy. So I just don't get it. But it's just more of the same. You look at the Raiders who went and got aggressive, and they got Devontae Adams. I'm listen. Like I said, I've argued with Dolphin fans all year. I said that you need to go get Saquon Barkley for a cheap draft pick. You need to draft and trade for an offensive lineman, right? The picks don't matter unless they are hit on. So at the 29th pick, you're going to get a player better than Amari Cooper or Saquon Barkley or whatever it may have been, whatever pick it is, then you don't trade it. But how you can tell me you pass on Amari Cooper, you pass on Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, you throw those fourth, third, second round picks at these teams and say, hey, let me get this guy. If it doesn't pan out, I lost a third round pick. So the lack of aggressiveness is making me upset. It's just like the quarterback position. I've been on the same train. I always said Deshaun Watson, the player, I would have surrendered all those picks just to see. Okay, if it didn't end up panning out, you put protections on that. The Texans would have agreed to that at the
Yep.
time when they were talking about it, because the Dolphins were a bottom five team, right? Watson didn't play all of last year. He'd have been on the roster. You keep Tua as an insurance policy, and you going on about your business, right? So
Hmm.
it's just, I don't like unaggressive GMs, because now we're going to be back in the rebuild in a year or two. When you fire Chris Grier, finally, you're going to fire him. They're going to be bad. Now they're going to bring in another GM. You may get a new coach. So a lot of the things that they're doing is questionable. I like some of the picks, obviously. But if you believe
Yep.
in the system, that's fine. But Jesse Davis need to be replaced. You know what I'm saying? Austin Jackson needs to bring in some competition to push him to the next level. His system that they run doesn't require the offensive lineman to be as strong as this other system that we were running last year. So Austin Jackson does have a chance to be really good in this system, because it's more of a athletic build system, zone scheme. They moving, pushing guys, but the Lyle Collins and the running back situation is very alarming to me, because Saquon Barkley is better than the two guys you signed, and you would have had to surrender the fourth round pick or so. I would have. When you can't tell me you wouldn't pay Saquon for $60 million for top tier running back play.
For top tier, yeah, I think I think it's fair to worry about his health though. He's had serious injuries the last couple of years. I think that's a fair thing to worry about if you get return on that investment with him. Now I know Mostert has had injury issues as well, but they're not paying him much.
Yeah, so I agree with that, but for a 4th round pick, you won't take that chance. That's what I'm asking you.
Now, what about now? I like the Cedric Wilson move at receiver, but again, and I love it too. And it is, and this is not a bad thing in this case. It's definitely a value move, but a value move in a good way, right? Because you get an ascending player who, had he been on almost any other team, probably would have been used a lot more. But he was a young receiver in a very deep receiving room, so he didn't get a whole lot of reps. So I think that was a really good deal there. So do you?
And he made all the big plays for Dak Prescott. If you watch the film, you see that he made all the plays for Dak when it counted. So you look at that, and I like the Cedric Wilson there. I think that he's going to be very good in this system. I still would have preferred Amari Cooper over him.
That was what I was getting at. I was getting at because they got a good player at a bargain price, but should they have been aggressive? And Amari Cooper, I know it would be expensive because he's making like $20 million next year, but maybe it would have been worth it.
I'm going to bring something to guys' attention.
Okay.
Look at the AFC over the next 5 to 10 years. What do you need to have to win in this AFC? This particular AFC. You need 2 dominant pass rushers. You need an elite quarterback and an elite offensive line.
We definitely do not have at least 2 of those things. When I think about quarterback and offensive line, we'll see what the pass rushers. We'll see what Jalen Phillips turns into, and I like Ogba. But yeah,
he's been really good his first year. But that's what it takes. The 49ers run with what? Elite O-line play, elite defensive line play. Had they had better quarterback play, they may be in the Super Bowl, But that's the 2 things it's going to take. You look at the Chargers. The Chargers went out and got what? They already got good O-line. Now what do they add? 2 elite guys to go with the pass rush, right? You look at the Raiders. What they add? 2 elite guys to pass rush, and now they have the quarterback, right?
Well, they got the receiver to go with.
Receiver to go along with it, but that's what the calling card is going to be going forward. So as a coach and as a team, we have to see that, because now I would throw this scenario out here. I think the Dolphins have a chance at Lamar Jackson.
Whoa, that's okay. Explain how they would make that happen, Jaccare, because honestly, I haven't heard any Dolphin fan discuss that, so I'd love to hear it. And I'm not a huge Tua fan, so I would take it.
So one, Lamar Jackson's playing on his 5th-year option this upcoming year. Okay. Right? So if he makes it to that point, I think they're going to get a deal done. But hypothetically speaking, if he gets to that point, he tells them he's not playing on a franchise tag, right? He demands a trade. I think Miami would be his preferred destination over everywhere. He wants to come home. Yeah. You bring him home. You send Tua and a bunch of picks there, because, Miami can be bad. You send your picks there, and you get Lamar. Like, I'm not saying it's a year away. I think it's 2 years away, because I think eventually, he goes the Kirk Cousins route where he plays on a franchise tag for like 2-3 years, and they can't franchise him anymore. Then he signs the big deal with the Dolphins.
I like it. Anything else you did like from this period with the Dolphins free agency so far? They basically, well, actually, let me give you one more thing that I didn't like, and I know that maybe I'm reaching to try and tie these 2 moves together, but how can I not? I hate the fact that you had to let Mac Hollins walk, yet before he went to Vegas, you re-signed Preston Williams for what? Like, what does he do?
Well,
exactly? He doesn't do anything.
Preston Williams is a guy that he's like, what's a good analogy for him?
I mean, for me, here's what I say. Maybe you're looking for something different. I say he's a poor man's Devontae Parker. Like he's basically a worse version of Devontae Parker, including getting injured more than Parker does.
Yeah, he's a guy that they're hoping, I hope he just stays healthy this 1 year, And man, we'll have something out of him. He's that guy on the team. Like, man, if he just stays healthy, he's this, he's that. But, maybe they're hoping and wishing. Maybe he does stay healthy this year and we get a great season out of him. But I didn't really like the move. I think bringing Mike Hollins back would have been better. He has better camaraderie with Tua. So that would have been better. And I also want to bring up another thing.
Okay.
Tua, if you ever click on this YouTube link, please go get you a real quarterback coach. Please. You need to work with a quarterback coach.
Not the tweeter. All this guy does is tweet. They just tweet. He argues with Omar Kelly. He argues with me. He argues with Juan Cardona. All this guy does is tweet.
Please go get you a real quarterback coach. That guy is not helping you. You might like him or whatever, but he's not the guy for you. Go get you a real quarterback coach and pan out. You know what I'm saying? You have a chance. You have a bad stigma about yourself right now. People say you're watching film. Playing golf while you're supposed to be watching film. So go get you a real quarterback coach. You know what you need to work on. Come back and be better next year.
Well, I think why he likes the Perform guy so much is that he knows that guy's going to stick up for him, right? Like he's like you remember what Miko Grimes was for Brent Grimes. That's where Perform is for Tua. He's going to argue with people on Twitter.
But for me though, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't feel bad for professional athletes. Because it's on you. When you get to the pros, it's on you. College is pretty much designed for you to succeed if you had a good program. Because you have to do those things. To be a good pro, you have to work hard and you have to do it. You see it with guys who all of a sudden first 2-3 years they suck. Then they start to get it year 3, 4, 5, and 6, and they're good players. So it's on you at that point. And I like what Miami did free agency wise. You did adjust the running back position. You brought back some guys. That's good. But I think what we all wanted as fans and as analysts of the team, you just wanted them to bring in a capable O-line, because right now Tua is set up for failure. No matter how you want to cut the mustard, the kid is set up for failure.
So, okay, what's your projection for Tua heading into next year? Because I do think he's got a better system, and the skill position talent has gotten better. Hopefully the O-line gets better along with that. So what are you expecting from Tua in year 3?
I think Tua will be better this year. I think he senses the pressure. So I think he'll be way better, and I think that he'll have a better season. Now, this is my final year with him because I've seen 2 years of what he does. So I think at this point, this is it. So if he doesn't pan out this year, I think they'll be in a quarterback race again. Next year's quarterback class will be better. You got Bryce Young, you got C.J. Stroud, you got DJ Ugalele.
TVD, don't forget TVD.
TBD, long as they have good seasons, I think you have some good guys. So I think next year's quarterback class will be good, and you'll be fine. But I think he has to get it together. This is the year, because you can't keep doing the same thing over and over. And I think he needs to take better care of his body and tune up.
Oh, I think I lost him. I don't know. I don't know if he can reconnect or not. In the meantime, I've seen a ton of super chats came in, so I want to shout out all those. So let me get to that. And by the way, like I was amazed at how many super chats came in. You guys are awesome. And that's one of the best ways to support the show and the channel. And it's not mandatory, obviously, because the live chat is free. The super chat is if you want to take an extra step of generosity. And if you leave a super chat, there's 100% chance I will read your comment. If you don't, there's like a 50-60% chance I'm going to read it. So if you could leave us a super chat, a little donation, that's awesome. And something completely free you can do is hit the thumbs up button, hit that like button, and make sure you subscribe to 5 Reasons Sports on YouTube. I hope the globalists didn't shut Jaccare down. Listen, folks, you have to understand here. There is a war going on right now against humanity. We got the lizard people, under the reptilians, the trans-dimensional pedophiles, all the Illuminati, the globalists. They're going after good people like you and me. If you take the vitamins that I sell here on this channel, you'll be fine. So I hope, because Jaccare was dropping a lot of truth bombs. He was dropping a lot of stuff that the amphibious reptilian liver, the amphibious reptilian lizard people was the word I'm looking for, that they do not want you to hear. So I hope the Illuminati did not shut Jaccare down because he was just there 1 minute, poof, vanished the next minute. Hold on, he's back. Jaccare, I was just explaining to the people out there that somebody in a position of power and authority did not want to keep hearing the truth bombs that you were dropping on the show. So I'm glad you were able to find an alternate means to rejoin us.
I will say this about Tua before we close out. I do think he'll be better just because he's 2 years removed from his injury. So I think this will be the real year we'll finally see what he has. But I think this is his calling card, and this is what we're going to see. Now, if he does the same things that he did against Buffalo, against the Titans and stuff like that, then that's who he is as a quarterback. So you have to move on from that because the incompetent, average quarterback play is not going to win in the AFC.
I'm with you, and I'll let you run on that note. But before I let you run, please promote everything that you do on the network and on the YouTube channel because, of course, you guys kick ass on the Sixth Ring. You doing the Miami Sports Break still? Where can people find you?
Yes, we're bringing the Sports Break back in about a couple of weeks. It's been on pause. Both of us have had some personal situations, but it's coming back. Also, I'll be at the Coaches Clinic for the Miami Hurricanes on the 25th and 26th. So I have some tidbits from that.
Ooh, okay. I look forward to I'll have to have you back on again for that.
Always.
Thanks so much, Jaccare. Enjoy your weekend.
Yeah.
Good stuff there from King Jock. Now, I think Brooklyn Rob's such a hater. Here's what Brooklyn Rob is. Brooklyn Rob, he might be behind the TuaNon account, actually, because I don't know who's behind it. Brooklyn Rob might be. So Brooklyn Rob, as soon as Brooklyn Rob heard Jaccare maybe questioning the sanctity of Tua Tagovailoa, he's like, oh, I'm so glad his internet crapped out. Trevor, TH, what is up? All right, so the first thing I do before I read any more comments, I want to go through the super chats because you guys are awesome. Devin Jordan, my guy, thank you so much. Bro, I agree. Jaccare needs to be our GM. And that might have been Jaccare's job interview. I'm going to send this file to Stephen Ross. I'm going to send this to Stephen Ross and tell him, Mr. Ross, you need to watch the conversation that I had with Jaccare and tell me he shouldn't be your GM. You can't. He had a perfect plan. He knew exactly what to do with Tua. He knows what to do with the offensive line, although some people didn't like his Lamar Jackson idea. But okay. You can't tell me Lamar Jackson wouldn't be at least a little bit better than Tua Tagovailoa. Aren't we trying to improve the team? Aren't we trying to improve the team here? All right, let's see. We got some more super chats. Oh, a double dip from Devin. Thank you so much. He said, I like the way this man thinks. Be aggressive in free agency. If the Dolphins don't make the playoffs, Grier needs to be fired. He has more lives than a cat. I mean, how many purges has that dude survived? Right? And listen, I try to be respectful because I am not the type of person who likes to call for anyone's jobs because it's a really mean thing to do. And I know that it's easy to target like people who work in professional sports. I don't think any of us would feel good if there are people out there calling for I've had people who have told me in the recent past, I shouldn't have a job even doing this. It doesn't feel good. Like, it doesn't feel good when people say that to you. And I understand livelihood, all that good stuff. So, I'm not going to sit here and call for somebody's job, but it is interesting how, like, Chris Grier, he must just be an excellent back office politician because all the front office and coaching purges and personnel scouts, GMs who have been purged over the years, he is Littlefinger from Game of Thrones. Chaos is his ladder. Every time there's a purge, he actually comes out of it with more power than he had before. It's incredible. I wish we could all be able to work like that. Let me see the other super chats. Hold on, I'm scrolling through. I want to shout these out. Shake Money, thank you so much. I'm starting to believe that Hunt will be moved to tackle. My idea was if you don't want to sign any tackles, let's just line up with 4 guards and a center. Let's revolutionize football. You've got right guard A, right guard B, center, left guard A, left guard B. Who needs tackles when you've got enough guards, man? What are we even doing here? Brooklyn Rob, thank you so much. He says Austin Burke has really. I've never actually been there. I know they've got such affordable prices, was why I made the joke. They have really nice suits. Maybe you meant to say Joseph A. Banks. You're not exactly the voice to listen to when it comes to fashion. And you know what? Now I cannot afford to shop Armani, so I will not be buying an Armani suit. But I do need to buy a new suit because in the summer I've got to go to a wedding and I've got to wear a suit, and the suits that I have are very old and they don't fit me properly because I've just lost 44 pounds and I'm trying to lose even more. I'm trying to get 50 pounds down. So I got 6 more pounds to go. So I need new fucking suits. So I may go to Austin Burke. I'm glad to hear you tell me they have good suits because I'm looking for bargains, and I hear those Goran Dragic commercials over the years. Listen, it's wonderful. You get 14 suit for price of 18 suit. You get such great deal. You shop for entire family at Austin Burke. I will happily go up there and buy some suits. If I could afford it, though, I'd shop directly from Armani, but I can't. Ray Grullon, my guy, he says, howdy, Donno. Once Watson signs, it'll be a domino effect on all the linemen watch. It's been only 2 days, peeps. Happy Friday. That's perspective. I mean, that's I need more of that positivity in my life. I need more of it. Now, I didn't sleep a lot last night because I had the pleasure of doing 4 hours of morning radio starting at 6 a.m. So I was up by 4:30 this morning. I was on with Leroy Horde, filling in for Tobin, my dude. I love Tobin. Was filling in for him this morning on 790 The Ticket. So I'm a little low on sleep. I did not go out last night for St. Paddy's Day. I abstained. I didn't do it. I didn't go out. I got nothing against the Irish. Like it's a very, very festive holiday. But not only did I not go out, I didn't drink any alcohol yesterday, and I didn't even wear any green yesterday. So I was completely out of the whole St. Paddy's Day thing. I think that might be it for the super chats, but I'll go through full shout outs in a couple minutes. All on 561 says Jesse Davis is little finger. Chaos is his ladder. It's true. He plays every position on the line poorly, but he plays all of them. You're right. He survived all the offensive line purges because he's like, hey, if you need a guy who can play left tackle, left guard, center, right guard, right tackle, I don't play any of them well, but I can play all of them. I am your guy. You need to have me on your roster because I can play all of those roles. Oh, man. And, I mentioned the ways that you could support the show. The completely free and easy, painless way to support the show is to hit the thumbs up button. Smash the like button. We were over 100 likes yesterday. I want to be over 200 likes today. Let's go into the weekend. And I know some of y'all are lazy because I know because I can see the statistics, okay? I know that more people watch the shows than hit the like buttons. So that just means you're freeloaders. If you come in here and you want to watch any part of the stream, the first thing you should do is hit the like button, hit the thumbs up. Because if I see certain number of people viewed the episode and then 10 times more people viewed it than hit the like button, that math is off. You should all be hitting the like button. So that's a big way to support the show. The super chat, which of course is completely optional. I don't want anyone to think you have to pay money to watch the show. It's completely free. But if you're generous enough to leave us a super chat donation, that's awesome. But yeah, the big way to keep the lights on here on Donno Daily is support our sponsors, and they are fantastic. The Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. That is the official sports bar of Donno Daily. I missed out on my drinking last night, but I may catch up during the weekend, and I can't think of a better way to do that and do it affordably than the 2-for-1 drinks at the Quarterdeck. 2-for-1 happy hour is all day, every day. You get double 2-for-1. It never ends, guys. I will be sipping those 2-for-1 margaritas this weekend. The beer is ice cold there at the Quarterdeck. The food is so good. The seafood is always fresh. The burgers and sandwiches are fantastic. And it's a great place to watch all the games. We got some college hoops going on. Oh, by the way, for Brooklyn Rob's sake, I'm going to check on my bets in a minute. Maybe I can incorporate that with their next sponsor. But we got the NCAA tournament on, which is just going to be like constant background noise. Your brackets were probably busted by St. Peter's last night. Or if anyone had Kentucky going all the way, you're completely screwed. But that's what makes the tournament great. It's unpredictable. And you can watch that unpredictability. You can watch the Cinderella stories play on the Quarterdeck because they have TVs covering every wall. The game is always on. the big fights are always on. You can watch every UFC pay-per-view at the Quarterdeck for zero cover charge. So if you want to find the location nearest to you or peep their menu before you go, you can check them out online at quarterdeckrestaurants.com. The Quarterdeck, come for the food, stay for the fun. And yeah, folks, there are 16 games being played today in college basketball. I have open bets on all 16 of them. Let me see how I'm doing in these earlier games. I don't literally have bets on all of them, but I do have. Okay, Brooklyn Rob, you hear this? I already won a bet today. Ohio State pick'em game. I had Ohio State minus 105. Boom. Ohio State 54. Sister Jean and Loyola 41. So I already cashed that ticket. This was a big spread, 2-seed Auburn against Jacksonville State. That game has about 3 minutes left on True TV. I have Auburn minus 14.5. They're up by 17. So that's going to come down to the wire final 3 minutes. And I do have, I apologize in advance to Coach Larinaga because I did bet Miami. I think it was like my plus 2.5, I think, Miami against USC. So I bet Miami to cover the spread. So if the Canes don't win, it's probably on me. It's going to be a mush tactic. And I've got Alabama minus 4 against Notre Dame. That game starts at about 4:15. And you know where I placed all those wagers? You see it there on the screen? BetUS.com, America's favorite sports book. BetUS.com, it's a full-service sports book. It is available in Florida. The full site is available in the state of Florida. Don't even worry your little head about it. It's fully available in Florida, and it's so easy. Whether you're betting money lines, spreads, over-unders, all sorts of props, individual player props, it's all there so easy. Like, if you wanted to, you could make like 15, 20 different bets on the same game. If you want to bet player props and every first half lines, you can do so much at betus.com. It is so much fun, guys. It's called America's favorite sports book because their customer service is awesome. And we have the best bonus in the industry for you. And when you sign up, make sure you sign up with our code because it's going to do two things. It's going to help us out because we get the recognition here. And it's going to help you out because you're going to get the best bonus in the industry. So when you make your first deposit, they have re-up deposits as well, re-up bonuses. But the best bonus is your first deposit. Use our code 5RSN125. You see it there on your screen, 5RSN125. When you type that in with your deposit, they're going to give you 125% sign-up bonus. So if you deposit, for example, $100, they're going to give you $125 in additional free play money on top of your deposit. So then you have $225 to play with. It's fantastic. And you can bet on any sporting event you can think of: college basketball, pro basketball, NHL hockey, international soccer, UFC fights this weekend, boxing, anything going on, you can bet on it at betus.com. So sign up with our code 5RSN125. They have live betting on all of it, by the way. You can bet during the games, and they have a full casino on the site. So check it out. It's really cool. 5RSN125 is our code at betus.com. You bet, you win, you get paid. betus.com. And please also, and this is a lot of fun during the tournament as well, check out our official fantasy sports sponsor, Prize Picks. Guys, prizepicks.com. This is my preferred method of daily fantasy because what they do is they combine my love for daily fantasy with my love for parlays. Okay, so you select 2, 3, or 4 players and you predict if they're going to go over or under fantasy projections, different statistical projections, and you win money through multipliers, right? If you get 4 predictions correct, you get 10 times your money. And you can go cross league and cross sport. So if you want to select college basketball player and an NHL player, NBA player, you can go cross sport with a selection. It's really cool. So I recommend checking it out. You're going to have a lot of fun with it. And we do have a code word for that as well. When you sign up at Prize Picks, use our code 5, that's FIVE, and they're going to match your first deposit 100% up to $100. You can deposit $100. They're going to give you an extra $100 of free play money. And it's a lot of fun. Prize Picks truly is daily fantasy simplified. All right, let me throw some more shout outs before this is I'm sure this is a fake quote, but it's like, I know this is fake. It's Jeff, you're funny, man. You're funny. He says Chris Grier just said he believes Austin Jackson can block Von Miller. He's delusional. Oh, Jeff, don't ever change. Now, if that is a real quote, you're not going to hear from me on Monday because I'm going to move like to Montana and I'm just going to fall off the face of the earth. But it's a fake quote. Ricky V, thank you so. Rich V, sorry, thank you so much for tuning in. He says we won't know if Grier failed until the end of the 2022-2023 season. I think coaching was the issue with those young guys. Coach makes a difference. And listen, man, I know they're going to try to coach him up. Cliff D has been asking, how does Chris Grier still have a job? Performance doesn't matter. And this is and yes, and Cliff, it is legal in Florida. It's offshore, fully available in Florida, so you'll have no problem using it. And listen, again, I don't want to be super negative, right? Because I think that the other message that I just read from Rich, I want to try and give Grier the benefit of the doubt. And for example, the 2021 draft looks like he selected some damn good players from that draft. The top 3 picks looked really, really good last year. So it's not all been bad, right? And also it's not over, right? We can be frustrated with the first 5 days of free agency, tampering period into the first real day. We can be frustrated. Hey, how come we haven't signed a tackle? How come we haven't signed a center? We can be frustrated with it, but just know it's not done. And the tackle market has not dried up yet. Like Teron Armstead has it in a holding pattern. What concerns me is it's a little bit unclear how aggressive the Dolphins are actually being, right? Because Cincinnati was reportedly way more aggressive on La'el Collins when he became available. Like they were way more aggressive to start out the negotiations. And you have a first mover advantage in free agency. You ever heard that old adage, when you can get a player down for a visit, like don't let them leave. Like you have a first mover advantage, right? Now, if the player does leave and decides to take a bunch more visits, then maybe you lose your advantage. But you do have a first mover advantage, and the Dolphins were not nearly as aggressive as some other teams. I don't know for sure how aggressive they're being with Armstead, because Armstead might have just shut everybody down. Like Armstead might have just said, like, hey, I'm not talking to anybody until I figure out what Watson's doing, whatever's going on with New Orleans. Can they bring me back? Can I play with Watson? So I'm not gonna completely freak out. Cincy is smart, protect quarterback. Miami is like quarterback can get hit. It's like free shots, everybody. Just free shots on Tua. So thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Ray. And again, man, I know I get a little worked up sometimes, and I am everything that I said throughout the first 30 minutes or so of the episode, I did mean it. Like when I was being critical of the Dolphins' approach, I meant every word I said, okay? But when I get worked up about something either super negative or super positive, I just want to make sure that I'm representing myself correctly, okay? Because it's hard, whether you're speaking like I'm speaking right now, whether you're writing an article or a blog or you're writing a tweet, you're throwing something out there with limited context, and people are going to make assumptions about you based on that without knowing the full array of what's going on in your mind. Okay, so when I start the episode, first 25, 30 minutes, a lot of negative stuff, a lot of complaints, airing some grievances. I don't want anybody to think that I'm just some dude who like covers the Dolphins but hates the Dolphins. I've got some agenda and I think everybody should be fired. I should complain about That's not me. Like that's not who I am. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. Okay. I can be a little playful sometimes. I can troll a little bit. I troll Tua a little bit. I don't hate Tua by any. I'm rooting for him because I'm a Dolphins fan. And it's the same thing with Grier. I'm rooting for Grier. Okay. So I don't want to make it seem like this episode is an hour of just bashing the Dolphins GM. I want the takeaway to be I want to encourage the GM because I want him to do something, because it would be criminal negligence to go into next year with virtually the same offensive line plus Connor Williams. That would be negligence, right? if the argument like in favor of Tua being so great is, well, how could you evaluate him with a bad offensive line? Then you have to make the offensive line better. You have to make them appreciably better. And I like Mike McDaniel. I think his scheme is awesome. I think the new offensive line coach, Applebaum, should be an upgrade, but you can't expect some of these players on our O-line to just be magically coached up. Like, no, you have to make the personnel better in addition to making the scheme better. So that's all I'm saying. I don't want anyone to watch this and be like, oh, this guy is just super negative and he just ruined my weekend. Now I have no faith in the Dolphins. I don't want this to be that. I want to vent my frustrations. You know, I started the episode saying this is going to be like a therapy session for us. It was more of a therapy session for me, right? Because this platform and you guys actually watching this, and God bless you. Thank you so much for watching and for making us a part of your day. Like you got the audience and the platform, you guys gave me the opportunity to get a few things off of my chest. And I appreciate that. Level 2 noob, Chris Grier's performance evaluation is as fake as the salary cap. Oh man, yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, there's always ways around the salary cap. I mean, you look at what Atlanta did, restructuring Matt Ryan to theoretically make room to add Deshaun Watson if he wants to go there and if they can strike a deal. Like there's workarounds. Like the salary cap, it isn't just some magical ledger in accounting that cannot be changed, cannot be adapted. You can find a way to restructure players and still have the players get paid the same amount, just paid, in different sort of installments. So there are ways around it. Astro, thank you so much. I like that name. It's like, it's very, you're either from Houston or you're from space. Maybe both. Now with Flores out of the way, Chris Grier can tank correctly this time. I don't want to tank again, though. Like, okay, we didn't tank properly the first time, but I don't want to do it again. Like, I don't want to tank. It's not what I want. I'm done. We've been tanking for 22 years. I don't want to keep tanking. Somebody had a great line on Twitter yesterday. I can't remember who it was, but somebody had this great line that the Dolphins are in year 22 of a 3-year rebuild. Like that tweet, it was perfect. Like it is the most it's like, what's the most perfect work of art ever? Da Vinci's The Last Supper? Is that the most? I don't know jack about art, but I'm going to go with The Last Supper is the most perfect work of art of all time. That was the most perfect tweet. The Dolphins are entering year 22 of a 3-year rebuild. It's perfect. I couldn't do any better than that tweet. It was awesome. G.A. Kane fan, you betting Miami baseball over Clemson too? I should, or maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should bet Clemson because he said you bet Miami basketball. Crap. Yeah, I want to make sure I'm done with this episode in a few minutes because I think like 3:10 or so they're tipping off Miami and USC. Yeah, I bet on Miami plus 2.5. So we'll find out if I'm really a mush or not. And the guy who named me the mush, one of our favorites here, one of our chronics, Brooklyn Rob. What a guy. I love Brooklyn Rob. I know we bust each other's balls sometimes. He busts on me for being a mush. I bust on him for being a Tua fanatic, but we love each other. We get along at the end of the day. And yeah, David, I will follow this rule. I will not bet on the Florida Panthers. I bet on them 3 times this year, and they lost all 3 games that I bet on them. So I'm done. I'm done mushing the Panthers. I have won some bets on the Canes basketball team this year, so maybe I don't mush them. We shall see. Richie, thank you so much. We're waiting for the good part. I'm not sure. I hope we got to the good part. I'm not sure what the good part. Oh, that might have been when Jaccare dropped off. I think that's probably when he sent that. Dell's Cafe, thank you so much. The question is whether you'll have to attack in the draft in 23, 24, or whether there will be an elite option. I'm assuming he's talking about quarterback available around the NFL at that time to be had. It's always a gamble. When you pass on franchise quarterbacks thinking you're going to get one in the future, you are taking a calculated risk. All 561. I don't know if I'm saying that. There's a lot of O's and zeros in there. All oon. Thank you so much for tuning in. Jesse Davis is like, I like that comment. Mike was not happy with GM Jaccare. He says, fire Jaccare. You guys already hate him more than you hate Grier. Oh, no. Oh, man. David says, replace Donno with Manny for a day. Stat. I mean, if I mush Canes basketball, you might have to. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there. Austin, thank you so much for tuning in. We definitely need vets because we haven't drafted very well at offensive tackle. That's why, and we had all this money. That's why I wanted to invest mostly free agent money in offensive line. That was my strategy. If I were the GM, I would have already gotten like 3 tackles and 2 centers. But instead, here we are. Thanks again, TH Trevor from the 203. We appreciate you. Shake Money, we appreciate you, sir. JP on Sports, love you. Ian from Brooklyn, thank you so much. Oh, thank you for checking in, man. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I remember Ian. You used to chat with me a lot when I was doing up until last summer when we were on Onside Radio, which we all also streamed that on YouTube. I think that I'm placing you correctly. That Ian from Brooklyn, we used to chat on Onside Radio, and I'm glad you found us here on 5 Reasons Sports. So thank you so much. Andres, one of my favorites. He's a Tua skeptic like myself, I think. Cap for life. Cap for life. He is essential to the chat. This guy is here every single day. He's here more than I am, right? Because like for a while, I was in Jamaica for a week. I was on jury duty for 4 days. I think Cap has still been here every day when I haven't even been here every day. Oh man, let's see. Throw out some more shout outs. Jim McEwen, another one I see in here a lot. Lamar has stunk in the playoffs. Well, how's Tua been in the playoffs, Jim? Oh, that's right. We've never seen him in the playoffs. Y'all would be okay losing as long as it looks flashy. Let's get to the playoffs first before we talk about winning playoff games. I appreciate the comment, though. I kid. I love it. Let's see. I have heard Joe say this, and I like Joe. I've worked with Joe before. Joe Rose said we need 5 new offensive linemen. Thanks, Grier. No. We don't need 5 new offensive linemen. We just need to coach them up. Like Jesse Davis, Austin Jackson, they'll be fine. We just have to coach them up. Okay. I'll believe it when I see it. Super V, thank you so much. Yeah, a lot of people took issue with Jaccare saying go after Saquon Barkley. See, Big Dan 305, he took the thought right out of my brain. That's my reservation. I mean, Saquon Barkley, elite talent, just not elite availability. That's the big thing there. Okay. A few more shout outs, and then I got to go watch my Canes. Troy, thank you so much. If Tua doesn't drastically improve, and with the current guys on the offensive line, we're at the bottom of the barrel in the AFC. Forget play. The AFC is stacked, man. The AFC is stacked with quarterbacks, stacked with playmakers. You look at what Buffalo's doing. I was going to say Oakland, Buffalo, Vegas, Chargers, Broncos went out and got Russell Wilson. Oh, even Jacksonville's being aggressive. Like, Jacksonville, they started so far at the bottom. Like and they did beat us last year head to head. So kudos to them. Like, they weren't better than Miami, but they did beat Miami. But yeah, Jacksonville's being aggressive. Miami is shopping in the bargain bin. Unfortunately for us. Tony 2 times. I love this dude as well. McDaniel has to win 8 to 9 games to keep his job. Can't have a better team on paper and only win like 5 to 6 games. And the thing is, like, the schedule's tougher. I went through the schedule yesterday. I went through like I don't think we have the dates yet for any of the games. We got all the home and away games, and obviously anything can happen, right? Because like I don't think we realized last year how easy the schedule would be, and then like a lot of players started getting hurt on various teams, so you never know. But the schedule looks significantly tougher on paper this year than it was last year. So, I know that we tend to measure success based on wins and losses. The Dolphins could be better this year and win the same amount of games as last year, or they could even be better next year and win like a game less than next year. So I think they've got to be like noticeably better to get 10 or more wins this year. Let's see who else. See if I missed anybody. I think we even got some new comments since I started throwing this. Like if I read the new comments that supplant the old comments, we'll be here all day, right? Because as I'm going through and reading the comments, new ones come in sometimes. Let me try and send out a few more. And yeah, I try to shout out everybody. Some days we do it. Some days we miss some people. I don't miss people on purpose. Like I don't skip over people I don't like, because I like all of you. I like all of you. If Tua's trainer was here making comments, I would read his comments. He doesn't like me, but I like him. I like everybody. We're all human at the end of the day. Indeed, thank you so much. Can the refs stop with these weak-ass misconduct penalties for chirping? The Panthers are getting screwed by the refs way too much on this road trip. When even the NHL is starting to turn soft, the world is changing. I mean, they still allow fighting in that sport, but when you start seeing some of these really soft calls like that, the world is getting so soft. Dolphin82, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. Let's see. Okay, I think that's it until, hold on, a few new ones came in. IMAX. Yes, he says, I missed the show, didn't I? You did. Oh, Big John Stud. Big John Stud with the super chat. You are the fucking man. Thank you so much, Big John Stud. I love it. You are the absolute man. Tony Kidd just got in. Thank you. And okay, I think that's it. Had to make sure to get IMAX in because I love this dude as well. And you know what, IMAX? Even if you missed most of the show, thank you so much. Grier in charge of building an O-line, we're doomed. The past is the best indicator of the future. Yeah, if you're right about that, we're in big trouble. Oh, and Samuel, thank you so much. And Dolphin 714, thank you so much. I think he was answering the title of this episode is Dolphins GM Chris Grier doing enough in free agency. He says no. A lot of people feel that way. And again, huge shout out to everybody who got in. If you're a Canes fan, go Canes. If you're not a Canes fan, go Canes anyway. I will talk to you guys again on Monday. Hopefully on Monday, we're talking about all the offensive linemen the Dolphins have just signed. I'm trying to conjure positivity here. On Monday, we'll be talking about our new starting center, our new starting right tackle, our new starting left tackle, and we're just going to have a big-time celebration on Monday. So we will talk to you guys then. Make sure you support our sponsors, betus.com, code 5RSN125, Prize Picks, code FIVE, and the Quarter Deck. No code. Just show up and have a great time. Drink some beers, 2-for-1 margaritas, eat some delicious food. Spend your entire weekend there. We'll talk to you guys again on Monday on another episode of Donno Daily on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. See ya.